Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going deep, and I mean literally, to get to the bottom of the invisible infrastructure that powers our entire digital world, subsea data cables. Now, these aren't just wires. They are the physical arteries carrying the lifeblood of the modern economy right across the ocean floor.
You know, we all talk about the cloud, like it's this magical, abstract thing floating up in the sky. But the physical reality? It's a lot more concrete and way more strategic. Your data lives in massive data centers, and those centers talk to each other through this incredible global network of undersea highways. And get this, a staggering 99% of all international data travels through these cables. And believe it or not, they're only about the size of a garden hose. We're talking everything from the AI models being trained as we speak to trillions with a T in daily financial transactions. It's the absolute backbone of our digital lives.
Okay, so let's dive in. We're going to start with this invisible backbone, then jump right into the high-stakes race that's redrawing the internet map in the Pacific. We'll break down why milliseconds are worth billions, see which new countries are becoming digital hubs, and wrap up with what all of this really means for your business and its digital supply chain.
You see, for decades, this global network pretty much just grew organically, connecting continents based on demand. But that era, well, it's over. This vast network, the world's digital backbone, is going through its most significant shakeup in decades. And this isn't just about laying more cable for more bandwidth. It's a strategic shift that's fundamentally changing who controls the global flow of data.
And that brings us to where the real action is happening right now, the Pacific Ocean. There's this quiet but incredibly intense race to lay new digital arteries. And it's being driven by the world's biggest tech companies and governments, all trying to chart the course for the future of the internet.
Now, what's so interesting here is the visual shift this represents. We're moving away from an old map where data was basically funneled through just a few really vulnerable choke points. The new map is all about creating a resilient, complex web with a ton of different paths. The new mantra is secure, sovereign, and diversified.
And this is where you really see the two competing philosophies driving this whole race. On one side, you've got US-led projects from companies like Google and Meta focusing on what they called trusted cables between allies. And on the other, you have China-led initiatives building out a parallel digital Silk Road, which reduces their reliance on US infrastructure and serves partners in the global south. It's literally a tale of two internets being built in real time.
So you have to ask, why? Why are these companies spending billions of dollars to lay their own cables across thousands of miles of ocean? Well, it all boils down to the physics of speed and the economics of control.
The crucial concept here is latency. That's the delay in data travel time. Just think about that annoying lag on an international video call. That's latency. The shortest, most direct physical cable route you can build reduces that lag. And in a world of high-frequency trading and real-time AI, shaving off even a few milliseconds translates directly into a competitive advantage that can be worth billions.
For any business, latency isn't just some techie term, right? It's a direct hit to the bottom line. A higher latency route means your AI models take longer and cost more to train, your cloud services are more expensive, and your global supply chain coordination is always a step behind the competition. It's basically a hidden tax on digital inefficiency.
And that is exactly why the big players, the hyperscalers like AWS, Google, and Meta, are changing the game. They're not just leasing capacity on cables anymore. Nope, they're building the infrastructure themselves. By owning the cables, they vertically integrate their entire digital supply chain, which lets them control latency, secure their data, and really sharpen their competitive edge.
Now, this relentless race for lower latency and greater control isn't just happening at sea. It's creating a whole new map of winners on land. As companies look to build more resilient routes, we're seeing new countries emerge as these critical digital crossroads.
First up, take a look at Vietnam. Its long coastline offers a perfect, low-latency alternative route for data flowing between Asia and North America. And, crucially, it lets all that traffic bypass the congested and geopolitically sensitive South China Sea. So, yeah, it's quickly becoming a major landing zone for the new internet.
Then you've got India. It's using its unique geographic position to become a critical link between Europe, the Middle East, and the rest of Asia. By developing new landing stations on its west coast, it's cutting its historical reliance on hubs like Singapore and really charting its own course as a data superpower.
And it's not just in Asia. Over in North America, as more companies move their physical supply chains closer to home, that nearshoring trend we hear about, Mexico is becoming a vital landing point for data. It offers secure, low-latency connections directly into U.S. data centers, which reinforces those new, shorter supply chains.
So where is all of this headed? Well, these separate competing cable projects are contributing to a much bigger structural change, the emergence of a very different kind of internet.
We're talking about the Splinternet. And look, this isn't some alarmist fantasy. It's a pretty pragmatic description of the direction we're all heading in. For businesses, this means the dream of a single global market for digital services is starting to fracture. Pretty soon, you might not be able to train an AI model on global data sets as easily, or run a single e-commerce platform worldwide without navigating this maze of different data routes and regulations.
Okay, so what does all of this actually mean for you and your business? The key takeaway here is that understanding your digital supply chain, the actual physical path your data travels, is no longer just optional. It is an absolutely essential part of modern risk management.
I think this quote really just nails it. You have to start thinking about your data routes with the same seriousness you apply to your physical shipping lanes, because a single point of failure under the water can be just as disruptive as a blocked canal.
So, what are the crucial steps for building this digital resilience? First off, map your data's journey. You need to know the paths it takes. Second, find your weaknesses. Are you relying too heavily on one single cable system? Third, diversify. Spread your risk across different providers and different physical routes. And finally, monitor the landscape, because the geopolitical map of digital infrastructure is changing all the time.
Ultimately, it all comes down to this one simple question. As the digital and physical worlds become totally inseparable, knowing the answer is no longer a job for just the IT department, it's a critical question for every single leader. Thanks for joining this explainer.